Hello, welcome back to Squashwarp. I'm Luke, and we are going to Minmus today. Last time we had a party on the moon. This is Grald Kerman looking out of this viewing cupola thing. And we're going to land on Minmus and have a similar party to last time. So let me get my Kerbal set up, let me pick a landing site, and then we'll go down. I think maybe we'll land on the poles. That sounds nice. I'm going to save, and we're going to undock, if I can figure out which one to click. Undock. Refilled the fuel. We made sure that Grald Kerman was back in the capsule. Let's point orbit retrograde, and I'll do a sped up landing on Minmus. There we are. There's Kerbin off in the distance. See, poles are always pretty. Ground tether on so we don't mess anything up. We're on the surface, and just like last time, we have a little party for the Kerbals. All right, here we go. Okay, and then here comes the big moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let's plant the flag. Where are we? The poles. Poles training site. That's good enough. And climb. There, we did it, everybody. Wait, hang on. Let's turn around. There, little picture for the promotional. All right. How do I... Alright, we gotta get back in. I think I might cut getting back in because you've seen it before, and unless something silly happens, you don't really need the whole experience. But we planted a flag on Minmus. Let's go. Okay, getting the last one in. Whoa, getting the last one in. I've sort of learned how to fly them again. Good, we got our flag. Let's save, take a screenshot. And now, we could wait for a phasing orbit, but I think let's just chase after Aboleth. Which way are we going, though? South? Let's assume we're going south, but if we set that as target, we can sort of see which way it is. So I need to go down. Okay, here we go. Sped up. And we did it. Everybody's returned. Now we can do the all-important level up crew. And we have level 3 Kerbals. Alright, let's save that. And now we have some crew transfers to do. So I'm going to let them stay in there. That's fine. But what's important is that we now have level 3 scientists available to switch into the lab. Whereas Gilvin and Joffrey are level 2. Gilvin's level 1. So we're going to trade them out, and we're just going to leave these Kerbals here. So And Hadrid maybe can come with us too. So that's how we're gonna handle this. We're gonna take Hadrid and we're gonna transfer Hadrid into the spacecraft, into Aboleth. And then Joffrey, we're gonna transfer into Aboleth. And then to keep the research going, let's that's Gilvin, Tomden. Oh yeah, Tomden. Tomden we need to transfer into the cupola to stay with the spacecraft. And I need a scientist. Corian. Where is Corian? Corian Kervin. Transfer into the lab. And then Gilvin transfer into the spacecraft. And then the next scientist. Grald is a scientist. We're gonna... I don't want to click any buttons. Grald, transfer into the lab. So the lab is now researching 13.5 science per day, which is pretty darn good. Tomden is there. Corian and Grald are there. And everybody else is aboard Aboleth. Now, how's our life support situation? We have 22 days of life support and quite a bit of hab time. So, I'm going to transfer more life support from Aboleth, which is going home. I'm going to transfer the life support from Aboleth into the space station so that they can stay longer before they have to do a return trip. Sound good? Sounds good. I think we can safely transfer all of their supplies because Aboleth is going directly back to Kerbin, which means they're going to go home, maybe with a stop at Manticore Station. And we're going to send up a resupply mission for them soon. Oh, that's what I need to figure out. I need to figure out how to bring supplies on something other than a Griffin capsule, because we don't need exactly 3 Kerbals. We need more than 3 Kerbals. But the Griffin is the one with the life support resupply. Okay, we've emptied Aboleth except for these greenhouses. Emptied them of supplies. We still have fertilizer, but we're not making supplies nearly fast enough. We just have the single greenhouse. So we do have to go home with Aboleth, but that's where we were going anyway. Do we want to refuel? I think we will refuel, so I'll do a little more refueling and then I'll catch up with you. Okay, after much transferring of fuel and crew and monopropellant and all sorts of things, I think the conclusion that we've come to is that the lander is going to stay at Minmus so that the next tourism crew can use the lander when they come back to Minmus, and everybody else on Aboleth will go home. So I'm going to do some reshuffling and then come right back. Aha, I remembered something important. I wanted to test what an engineer could do. So before we depart, let's find an engineer. Rank 3 engineer, John Rick, EVA. You fly over to Dryad. And it said 1 kit required, so I don't know if he has... I've never used the, like Like, I don't know how the stock EVA repair stuff works in the game, because I played so many versions long ago. So, let's see if I get close. I can disassemble it. Repair. This part needs one EVA repair kit to repair it. Okay, so I have to figure out what an EVA repair kit is, and then I can bring it up. Alright, that's what I thought was going to be the case. I'll have to look and figure out what an EVA repair kit is, because I don't know if that's from Kerbal Inventory System or if that's a stock thing or what. Inventory. I mean, he doesn't have a drill or anything, but I don't think that that's what's necessary. Okay. Let's go aboard, and now we're gonna plan... Well, actually what we want to do is we want to get 150 meters away so that we can look at what our life support situation is. So let's set that as a target. Let's turn... Can I turn target retrograde? Let's turn away from the target. Oh, I'm still controlling from a random port. Okay, hang on. Control from here. Okay, let's time accelerate until we're more than 100. There we go. We were right on the edge. Okay, we have 1 hour of life support, but plenty of hab time. Dryad transfer vehicle has 175 days of life support and 300, so they can stay and do science for a long time. That's what we wanted to know. Meanwhile, we will go back to Minmus, back to Kerbin. Let's go. Okay, plotted maneuver. I skipped that out. Now we're going home, mostly. Okay, I've been skipping through. We've arrived in Kerbin Sphere of Influence, and we are just checking on some science experiments. Yeah, I'll do the plant growth experiment. We can take that out and bring it home when we get to go home, but we've got 10 days until these folks get back to Kerbin, so in the meantime we've got other things we need to do. So they don't have any food. Yeah, they don't have any supplies, but they've got plenty of habitation, and they'll be home before they have any issues. Alright, let's see what's next. A couple of our spacecraft are about to arrive at Eve as well. Last episode, the questing knight arrived at Eve, but this time, first it's this 15G relay. So I'm just gonna warp. We're gonna arrive. I'm gonna cut through some of this because there's not a lot happening. We're gonna get ready for our maneuver to circularize. I don't think we're gonna circularize at Eve. I think we're gonna go directly to Gilly after arriving at Eve. So I'll move through this fast. Okay, we've arrived in the Sphere of Influence. I set up a maneuver, but there's another probe that's also entering Eve's Sphere of Influence that we need to switch to real quick. The Marrow Eve probe. Let's switch to that. All right, here's this one. Where's Eve? There's Eve. Let's go. Let's speed up and arrive in its Sphere of Influence. I'll set up a maneuver for this, and I'll come back to you when we're actually doing maneuvers. Okay, we're going to actually arrive at Eve now with the 15G relay. Let's do this maneuver. I will probably speed this up because it's gonna... Well, it's only going to take 26 seconds, but I'll still probably speed this up. Here we come! The purple... what did I call it last time? I don't know. The purple planet. Okay, we should have a contract about bringing a 15G antenna to orbit of Eve. So let me check on that. Oh, the apoapsis has to be below 6,400 kilometers. So we have to slow down a little bit more. There we go. We did it. All right, contract complete. Yeah, now that we've got credit for that contract, we can plan a maneuver at the next periapsis to transfer back out to the orbit of Gilly and see if we have enough delta V to get to Gilly. Okay, cool. That's in only 4 hours. Let's do it. All right, we're going to Marrow Eve. We got to do its maneuver. Okay, this burn is done. Let's switch back to the relay and work on getting the relay to Gilly. Out by Gilly's orbit, we're going to change our inclination to match Gilly's. Now we have to plot a rendezvous, which may be difficult. I'm going to work on that for a minute. Oh, that wasn't that hard. We got one. It's well within our Delta V budget. So we'll just do that. Okay, we've set up a maneuver for that, and now we got to switch back to Aboleth. This is the spacecraft juggling section of the play. Aboleth is arriving at Kerbin. So let's go there. Here we go, arriving at Kerbin. I overshot because I was lost in thought. I'm thinking about how 3 of the Kerbals on this 11 Kerbal mission have to stay on Aboleth so that they can do the next training mission. And how 4 of the Kerbals on this mission need to stay on Aboleth so that they can replace the crew that is on Manticore Space Station. So that's 7 of the 11 Kerbals that actually need to stay on the ship. So should we really dock with the 11-seat capsule to send the rest home? But another ponderance that I have is, do we send up 4 more Kerbals right away? Because we don't have any new hires. I think that maybe we just let everybody come home. And then we send them up to the ship on a future mission. And we just let Hadrid, Joffrey, and Gilvin come home. And we don't rush to replace the crew of Manticore Space Station. That's what I'm thinking. Another thing we could do is we could use... Maybe we should just rendezvous the whole thing with Manticore. I'll dock and I'll figure it out. Yeah, the more that I think about it, the more I think I should send the entire ship to rendezvous with Manticore Station, because that's where we're going to need to go to resupply our fuel and life support and all of those things. We can transfer the 7 Kerbals that are staying in space to Manticore, or they can just hang out on Aboleth while it's docked using the life support that's there. And we figure out a way to send just 3... What Kerbals even go home? 4 Kerbals go home. Which is an awkward number because it's 1 more than can fit in the small capsule, but it's a lot less than fits in the Glabrezu capsule. So that's the part I have to figure out. Alright, I'm going to transfer to Manticore Station. I might have cut that out. We did a transfer to a 80-kilometer orbit so that I can phase for a while until the space station is in the right place to transfer to it. So we're in that position, and we've set a timer, but questing night needs a maneuver, so jumping over there. Alright, here's our crew that's out at Eve. Eve is still very far away. We're going to go to Gilly first if we can get a rendezvous, so let's see if we can do that. Okay, we did our very cheap plane change. Now I'm going to work on maneuvers to actually encounter Gilly. There's one. It's probably going to overlap. Yeah, it's going to be after Aboleth and Gilly relay, so more juggling continues. Okay, Aboleth getting ready to transfer to Manticore Station. I'm thinking about how I really don't want to do a sideways docking with Aboleth at Manticore, since that is the one environment when Aboleth and Manticore are together is when my physics time goes yellow and I get a little bit of lag. So I want the docking to be as easy as possible. I think what we should do is dock the capsule separately, get it onto the station, and then dock Aboleth. Also, after we do this transfer, I'm going to check that Manticore is ready to receive us, because there were a lot of space tugs that were kind of in the way the last time we were doing stuff. So I'm going to check on that as well. This is going to be a 5-second burn. I'm going to switch to Manticore, and I'm going to kind of fast forward through rendezvous and docking. I don't have any control over this craft. I don't know why that would be the case. Let's switch to this. Do I have control over the space station? It's got electric charge. It's gotten monopropellant. Does it just not have a reaction wheel? Like, why can't I rotate it? You know what? It might not have a reaction wheel. That's bizarre. All right. Well, anyway, let's get this docking done. This space tug has a design flaw, like many things that I made recently. I have reshuffled the capsule so that this port is empty for the Glabrezu capsule. We've moved the tug over to this side. This tug has a design flaw. I'm going to try not to use it. Maybe we'll even just send it home at some point. And everything else is in decent shape for the arrival of Aboleth. So let's switch to that, and we'll do it fast. I said I was going to do all this fast, but then I couldn't control the thing. All right, here we go. Phew! Alright, we did it. And the computer hasn't imploded or anything, so that's good. We get a little bit of a lagginess, but we got 3 of these centrifuges all in a row here. Okay. I'm going to transfer some Kerbals around and I'll update you. I've transferred a bunch of crew around and the math is not adding up. I had 11 Kerbals that gained level 3 experience. 3 of them stayed at Minmus, so that leaves 8 that have level 3 experience. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them here, 2 of them in here, and 1 of them in here, so that means 8. That part is fine. Then I had 3 Kerbals that had been at Minmus who came aboard, and 4 Kerbals that had been at Manticore who should be aboard. So that should be 7, but I have 4, 5, 6. So somebody's gone AWOL, and I gotta track them down. Stand by. Ah, I found him. Hadrid. Transfer. Oops. It did that thing where he went into the donut module, but I found him. It was Hadrid. He was in the viewing cupola thing. Okay, we did it. 7. Okay. All right, we did it. Now we want to know how much life support. They have 90 days worth if they all stay here. Their hab time is plenty long because they've got so many different habitation modules, so they can just sit here for a while, but it means we have no Kerbals at home. And life support supplies, that's what we got in terms of supplies. That's fine. I am thinking, what if we sent exactly 3 home? What if we sent 3 of the new recruits? Maybe a pilot, a scientist, and an engineer. We put them in this stupid capsule that is of no use anyway. Send them home, and then at least we have some Kerbals at home for when we want to do tourism flights and we need a pilot or whatever. Let's do that. I'm going to save. I'm going to do some transfers, and we'll go to the Space Center. Well, that didn't land close to the Space Center at all. I don't know what I did wrong, but it's fine. This silly capsule has now returned, and we have 1 engineer, 1 pilot, and 1 scientist, all rank 3, returning to the Space Center. We've got some launches to do coming up next. I'm going to switch gears and start doing some launches. Here we have the first of a new generation of rockets. This is our first 3.75 meter rocket, and I've dubbed it the Vengeance Paladin Lifter, because what's better than a Paladin? Vengeance Paladin. This is bright sun, but I can't quite see the sun. It's just bright. And palm trees in the distance. We're going to launch to the space bus with a pair of modules that make up the Vampire Familiar spacecraft. A new mining system for Minmus. Let's go. Okay, the first launch of the Vengeance Paladin is a success. I have activated one of the nuclear reactors that the Vampire Familiar spacecraft comes with, so that should be providing us plenty of electric charge. We're going to work on rendezvousing with the space bus, but I might not have the lifter do all of that transfer. There's space buses ahead of us over there. All right, let's do some orbiting stuff. Well, shoot. I don't know what just happened. I'll have to look back in the footage and see. I was speeding up, so maybe we overheated? So we did fail to recover this launch vehicle. I can at least recover the control section. I don't know if the engine overheated or what. We slowed down specifically so that the engine wouldn't overheat, so we'll find out. I'm gonna land this. This is gonna take a while with this many parachutes. I'm gonna land this and then go back to the space bus. Back in space, we're gonna transfer to the space bus. So I've called this the Vampire Familiar because it's a mining ship, but it's much smaller than the Vampire ISRUs that we've been running. And that's just the theme of monsters that has been the naming scheme for some reason. So it's a different way of doing ISRU, and I don't know if it's as good or if I like it as much. But basically, you put the refinery on a space station, and then you just mine the ore on the surface, and then bring the ore back, and then the refinery turns it into fuel at the space station. So you don't bring the convertitron, whatever this is called, down to the surface, and you don't bring the fuel tanks down to the surface. So my hope is that it will require fewer trips. I'm not really sure. I've just never tried it this way. It's just another way to do fueling, and I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna shut down that engine before I make a mistake, and we're gonna go to Minmus. I'll make a maneuver. Maneuver built. Let's perform the maneuver. Maneuver built. Let's perform the maneuver. Oh, we're missing the maneuver. Well, let's just go. I accidentally built the maneuver for, like, immediately. What? Start burning. Yeah. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we're gonna do this burn. It's apparently a 6-minute burn, so maybe we might have to break this up into a couple of burns. I'll see. Well, I decided to split the maneuver into 2 burns, but then we have to do a ghillie relay. So let me build a maneuver real quick. Add a maneuver that much. Let's just make it interplanetary. I don't need to fiddle with it yet. That way we can make an alarm for it. Now we go to the ghillie relay because I think the ghillie relay is arriving at ghillie. Interestingly enough. See you in a sec. No, it's not arriving at ghillie. It's going to do a maneuver. So let's save and then let's warp to it and let's perform the maneuver. Ah, I pressed the alarm. Okay, hang on. Close alarm. Hang on. Let's reload that. Because the alarm had already passed, so I just warped to an alarm that had already passed. So I need to revert time and see if I can still do the burn that I was supposed to do. There we go. It's in 9 seconds. So let's get pointed the correct direction. Maybe retrograde? Which way is it? Prograde? It's prograde. It's a prograde burn. 0. Go. Okay, there's a ghillie encounter. Let's see if we can fine-tune how the encounter works. You know what? We don't really need to. That's good enough. I'm happy with that. Let's just set a timer for when it's going to happen, and let's go back to what we were doing. Okay, so this splitting up a burn into multiple parts is a skill I need to learn. I've never really done it. I've experimented with it a long time ago, but basically, instead of burning all at once to go out to Minmus, we burn at periapts to raise our apoapts, loop around, burn again, loop around, burn again, and slowly raise it. Now, it messes with the timing of it, so I'm going to have to see how that goes. I'm going to warp to this place, get into the right orientation, and burn again, and see if we can get it done this time around. If we can't get it done this time around, I think we're going to kind of miss our Minmus transfer because we'll be positioned wrong, so we'll have to see how this works. I'm going the wrong way. Rookie mistake. Let's go the right way. Okay, we did it. It's going to be a slow transfer because we have to go out and then come back. We've got an encounter. I also messed with our inclination because we were passing our descending node, so I pitched up. Let's make an alarm for apoapts. That's a good time to do a correction. So that's going to be after the ghillie relay reaches ghillie, and after the questing knight does a maneuver. So I promised you some launches. Did I have another launch I was going to do? Well, how soon is that? In 5 days, questing knight is doing its maneuver. Well, let's do one more launch. You know what? I think it's a tourist mission, though. So I'll do the highlights. Oh, actually, Samson is not ready yet. Samson has gone on a long trip, and she needs 5 more days. Well, 5 more days, 4 hours, which is almost 6 days in Kerbal Land. So we actually can't do the tourism mission for another 5 days, 4 hours, which by that point we'll be doing the maneuver that we were going to do anyway. So what I'll do instead is make a science decision, and then we'll call that good. Hang on. We're out here at Dryad, where it turns out that they have not had their solar panels deployed, so we'll deploy the solar panels. A little bit of an oversight, and then we will send some of the science back and see if it gets us over the hump. Transmit the science. Until that's done. Done. Great. Okay, we got 70 science. I think that's now enough. Wow, that was a little bit intense. Okay. Anyway, we now have 618 science, so I have a decision to make about science. So, I might make it, I might not. Let me look at this situation. So, I said to myself, we're going to unlock the tech tree 1 tier at a time from now on. When I reached a point where I felt like I was unlocking the tree too fast, that's when I restricted how much science I was getting via the strategies building, and also when I said I now have to unlock 1 tier at a time. I had already reached aerospace tech by that point because I wanted the rapier. So I did that before I instigated this rule. Since doing that rule, I have finished unlocking all of this tier, and I've been slowly working on doing this tier. The part that is causing confusion is that I was gonna work on a Minmus base. Now, the habitation stuff doesn't really get started until here. But even though it gets started here, some of the things that we need to make the habitation really functional is all the way over here, which we're going to take even longer to get. So I could save science for this 1,000 science purchase of long-term habitation. But if I stick with my rule, I need to unlock all of this stuff. The advantage of sticking with my rule is that it forces me to actually use some of these things that I might otherwise ignore, and then, like, miss out on getting to experience. Like ion propulsion. I haven't done ion engine craft in years. I just don't have a mission that is begging for ion propulsion right now. So I haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to stick to my rule and keep unlocking things on this tier versus jump to long-term habitation so I can get started with a Minmus base. See, I got planetary base systems. So if I get this planetary central hub and this crossway hub thing, I can start using these parts to make a standardized base structure. And that standardized base structure can help me start experimenting with colonization on a small scale before I get into the big stuff. The more I talk about it, the more I'm thinking I should let myself break my rule and work towards the habitation. Because we don't need advanced heat management until we get the reactors. We don't need solar panel technology until we're doing ion engines. And I don't have a mission that I'm dying to send that has ion stuff, so it would basically be like not having any new parts for a while, and then it still wouldn't force me to use ion engines. Yeah, I'm convincing myself. Also, we got things like this tech node, specialized science tech, which literally has a single part, which feels, and this one has a single part, which feels maybe better if I'm further down the tech tree and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll grab that. Maybe the new rule is I can't be more than 2 ahead, right? So like, if I start unlocking stuff on this tier, that's okay. But I can't move on to this tier unless this tier has gotten everything. I don't know. I'll just try to be honorable about it. But it's fun to strategize, and I think pushing for the colonization stuff would be interesting gameplay for me since I've never used it, and this mod is very complicated. And I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about my Minmus base, and I set up my space station to support my Minmus base, and yet we can't actually build a Minmus base until we get these parts. So I'm going to save my science, and we're gonna save it for this. Because my other option was advanced unmanned tech, which would give me mostly the only thing I care about is this remote guidance unit, which is a lighter version of a probe core that instead of having to constantly use wherever it went. Unmanned tech, was it? I don't know where it was. The Mark II probe core has been my probe core for everything, even though it's quite heavy. Anyway, before we get tired to this lovely song, I'm going to let you go. This episode might be shorter than usual. Let's go hang out in the astronaut complex. The music is fun in there. Thank you for joining me on this episode. It might be shorter than usual. The last episode was longer than usual. The truth is I don't know how long it is in the recording. I can see how long I've been recording, but then I edited it down, so I don't know. But yeah, I think this was 35? Woo! Next time, we're going to see if we can get the Kerbals to Gilly. That'll be really exciting for me. All right. Liz, Doc, Samzon, and Megan, say goodbye. See you next time. Bye-bye.